After searching for our dream property, narrowing down where we want to live, we are looking to start the design process of our custom home that we are going to attempt to build ourselves.
We need your help.
We need help bad.
With a limited budget and literally zero experience in home construction or design, we have to figure out what the heck can we actually build.
And that's where you come in, if you haven't gathered.
And if you're new here, we're Colin and Paige, and after years of traveling in this van, we are now on a journey to build our first home in a market that makes it next to impossible.
Which is precisely why we decided to build ourselves. We're crazy. Are we crazy for building?
We're just crazy in general.
I take that as a yes.
As we are waiting for the crazy amount of snow to melt back home, we're still hiding in the Southwest, counting down the days until we can go back and start building. But almost every morning in the van these days starts the same way, by spiraling about what we're gonna build. After we wake up, I go straight aside to let Benji out to pee. But really, my head's just filled with all the build videos that I watched last night on YouTube.
Oh, babe, they used a reach lift to raise the walls. They didn't just do it themselves.
Meanwhile, Paige starts boiling the water, but really, she's just daydreaming about having a real kitchen. Not gonna lie, I'm also excited not to run out of power anymore, because that kind of is a pain in the ass, you know? And Benji in his natural habitat.
Literally, no matter what, no matter where we are in the world, Benji will find a stick.
Benji! Catch Colin.
We also can't wait for the day where we don't have to convert our bed into a table every morning and every night.
The most important step, because we designed this van before we got a dirty dog, so we've got to be a blanket couch family now. You're so dirty!
Yeah, in hindsight, a white couch probably wasn't the smartest idea.
Benji boy!
Thank you.
Hey, what?
At risk of spilling. Thank you, sir.
Hi.
This is horrible.
I look tan, man.
Nobody should ever see themselves from this view. Although my favorite is when you get a view of a dog like that. Like they're just looking down on you like this. We need your help.
We need help bad. In more ways than one. But for the sake of this video and your sanity,
And legal reasons.
we'll just talk about houses.
Yeah. If you've watched any of our previous videos, you know we looked in Nova Scotia, we looked in Ontario, and I think our heart really lies in Ontario, and I think that's where we're going to continue our search.
Also, this is an axe.
We needed a stand for our little microphone friend here, and this seemed like the most logical, but in hindsight, very random.
At least the cover's on. So we have a $300,000 budget, which is 210,000 US dollars, that we are going to try to do this whole thing with. Meaning we need to be very particular, not only with the land that we purchase, but the structure that we plan to put on it. Because the reality is, if we have a smaller house, we could probably afford better, bigger land in a better location. And vice versa, if we want a bigger house, we gotta get a smaller chunk of land and probably see our neighbors in their underwear.
You mean your neighbors are going to see you in your underwear?
That's valid.
Yeah.
So we've narrowed down to 3 floor plans and structures that we really, really like, and we would love your advice on them. They are all very simple because we're trying to be considerate of the budget. We don't want anything so complicated that like noobs like us will have a heck of a time. We want to be considerate of square footage because things like the foundation and the roof size really drive up the price.
So this is where you come in. We would love more advice on your thoughts on these different designs. Really, we're going to show you a bunch of boxes. They're going to vary in size and height. They are beautiful boxes.
My brother always did tell me I'm kind of square.
And now you're kind of rectangle.
That's a bad joke. Okay. Contestant 1. It would be really funny if we rolled like contestant music and was like a little voiceover section. Introducing house number 1.
House design number 1 is a quaint Nordic barn house, boasting a small footprint of 960, featuring 2 bedrooms and 1 bath and vaulted ceilings in the common room. What it lacks in size is made up with how I use it. I mean, how efficient it is. It could be the only house style that our broke asses could actually afford.
Are we recording? God, I can't even see the screen. It's so bright. We are in the direct sunlight because our neighbor behind us is cooking outside and we are awkward.
You don't need to have it that close.
Can you hear me?
The thing is,
I'm
if
working
you're
on
the
it.
microphone lady, you have to like, you can't just hold it here. It has to be like...
Okay, well then you be the microphone lady. So this is likely the house.
You see how this is done?
Yeah.
With the microphone?
Yes, thank you, reporter. Okay.
We're doing great. Disclaimer,
All of these house designs and floor plans will be modified with the help of a professional. They're just inspiration.
House number 1. This is likely the house that is the most practical, the most likely, the smartest thing that we could possibly do. So it is a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, and it is sub 1,000 square feet. 2 decent sized bedrooms, probably nice and cozy, but you still have a nice great room where you have your kitchen and dining room and living room and all the good stuff that comes with the house.
It's likely all we would really need for the foreseeable future. It's just us and Benji.
We can definitely plan it in a way where we can add an addition. So that addition could be maybe a primary suite with a bedroom and a bathroom, giving us a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in the end, but only starting with a 2-bedroom, 1-bath.
And just a quick aside, many people think of like starter homes as either fixer-uppers or townhouses that you flip, or you get a home to then eventually sell it to the next one. We like thinking about how can we do this in life stages where we buy the land that we like and we can foresee a long future there, and then we can build with life stages. And this is very congruent with that thought.
So you have your core, which we would build first, is actually the starter home. And then the addition on top of that is the expansion, where rather than moving, we're able to do it all on the same property.
Traditionally in Nordic countries, they would start with a smaller house to start, and as the family grows and their needs change, they would add on to this house. And this created some really unique architectural design, and this is very much what inspires this L-shaped house, where it actually is in kind of 2 different pieces with the same roof line, same size, but I think it's really, really sharp.
It is. It's beautiful. It's unique. I actually haven't personally seen anything like this in person, and I think that also gives it kind of like an interesting. How many times can I say interesting? It is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. So Paige, what do you like about this?
What's not to like? This one actually factors in things like utility closets or a pantry or an entry closet that I feel like sometimes in design is actually overlooked. And then I also really love the idea that it allows for future expansion for whatever comes next in life. Whether we choose to expand on it or not, we have that option.
I think for me, it's just the most simple structure to build, and it's likely, I mean, for sure, probably the cheapest option. And that matters a lot because we're trying to stay on budget and get into the market without getting into a mortgage that we can't sustain.
We don't want to be house poor.
And it does have a very comfortable common room with an L-shaped kitchen, which I think is a really smart use of space. And we do love to cook, so yeah, heck yeah. And again, that L shape for me is super cool. I think something that's important to point out as well, it's likely cheaper long-term to put that extra room and extra bathroom within the structure you're actually building. The other side of it is if we don't expand the family that much and we don't need a bigger house, we spent less.
Yeah, and it suits us for where we're at in life now and probably for the next, 5+ years.
So that's the budget house. What do you think? Whoa. Anyone else's dog just gets so amped at the start of a walk. Also, we made a mistake and put our microphone on a stick, and now Benji just wants a stick.
He did get it, and he did drag it, so hopefully the audio doesn't suck.
Okay, moving on to house number 2. Contestant number 2 is as unique as a rectangle could probably get, featuring beautiful tall ceilings, unique loft space for a primary suite, and 3-bedroom and 2-bath. It really is jamming a lot into a tiny box.
This one is really, honestly, it's very innovative. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but get this. It's in the same footprint as the last house.
There's variations that are 750 square feet to 950 square feet in this house design. Smaller foundation, smaller roof equals potential cost savings.
But higher roof. This one has kind of like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath on the main floor. 3rd bed and 2nd bath is actually in a really tall loft. So it's 1.5 stories. But really with this smaller footprint, you're still paying around the same for foundation as we would on the last house. Still paying around the same for the cost of the roof, because that doesn't change. It's just the size of the walls, a little bit taller.
The difficulty of building is a very, very serious consideration in this house design because there is no chance we can put up these walls ourselves, which means we'd probably have to hire a team, if not a crane operator, to make these massive walls shown in this picture upright.
I am kind of scared of heights, and thinking about building a 1.5 story, which is even taller, kind of scares me when I think about having to get on that roof to lay it. Taller roof means a longer way to fall.
It also is a much steeper roof line because the house design is quite long and narrow, which looks cool, but aesthetically, but that's a scary roof.
But at the same time, we wouldn't have to expand. We'd have all the 3-bedroom, 2-bath, all within, the one initial build of it. With the loft, you actually end up with around 1,250 square feet from a 900 and some odd square foot footprint. So that is just absolute insanity to me. I think it's really cool that there's even options to go up, not just out. That could help us save on costs and get what we want as well.
General rule of thumb is going up is a lot cheaper than going out because of foundation and roof, like we mentioned. It's absolutely ridiculously stunning. And I understand why this builder uses this as a cost-effective approach to getting a lot of bang for your buck. But the problem is they are hiring professionals and we are not that.
Close your eyes and imagine this for a second, or keep them open because we'll probably show it on screen. But imagine how beautiful it will look either sitting in that room where you have these massive ceilings and then the loft is only on half the house. So even when you get up to the top of the stairs, you can look over your balcony and you just have a view of your entire house. And it's just like, especially being a smaller space, I feel like that would really help make it feel so open and just like, you won't realize you're actually in like a 900 some odd square foot footprint. Like, I think that'll be so nice as well.
To be honest, we've been obsessed with this design for months, like ever since we saw it.
I will say one maybe downside of this is the size of the bedrooms downstairs. I think upstairs you could have a really nice sized bedroom. Maybe that would become the primary suite, primary bathroom. But downstairs, the one just kind of looks like it's the bare minimum of what you're allowed to call a bedroom. And that would probably act as an office, maybe a nursery. But overall, I think that's just one tiny blip in what could be a really beautiful, really practical house design.
What I love about this the most is, to me, it's so aesthetic. It is so cool and unique. And I've never, ever seen a house like this in person. And I know that it's kind of cool to think about making a house that is kind of one of a kind in its area. And to me, that's really exciting, even though there is some things that would probably be really difficult, which I think is mainly like building that second floor, putting up the walls, and of course, maybe doing the ceiling, doing the roof. Okay, a lot more difficulty with some things that would be much more simple in a single story. But looking over that loft at the great room with such high ceilings, it's a moment. Like, it would be such a special part of the house, And the last thing is, because this is almost identical of a floor plan and style as the first one, it just utilizes a taller structure and a loft for that extra bedroom. We could actually expand in the exact same way, in and out.
Yeah, it's true. So build once, you got a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Down the line, if you want to have, a nice little games room, office,
master suite,
a larger primary suite, especially with the stairs, then that's an option as well.
In summary, we love this house. I just have no idea how I would build it.
Yes, love it. Definitely complicated.
Let us know if you think it wouldn't be as hard as we think it is, or just to hire people to raise the 4 big walls.
Yeah. Are you team 1 floor or 2? Let us know.
I'm team, I need a house, and I really like this one. But I like all of them. Gosh, it's so hard.
You know what makes it even harder? Are these next houses, because they got it all. And they'd be easy to build.
Okay, we're going inside. It's hot. Okay, BRB.
Hey, who would have thought? Contestant number 3 is yet another glorified box. But this time, they're just bigger? With 2 to 3 beds, 2 baths, and a dedicated office space, it's a house we could definitely grow into. And unlike me, it really does have it all.
So that brings us to our last options. And we're putting these two together because they are so similar. It's more of deciding how big we want to go and how many bedrooms we actually need. They are much bigger footprint, between 1,250 to 1,400 square feet. Bigger footprint also means, again, bigger foundation, bigger roof.
Bigger dollar signs.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Yeah.
But because they are bigger and do have more rooms, it allows us to grow into them.
We would never have to expand on them. We would just build them once, be done. We've got room to grow.
So the thing is, we don't even know if we could actually afford to build a house this size. And if we could, it would be at massive trade-offs to all of the finishings. And that is a consideration, which is why it's a part of this list. We are willing to put more money into the land and the structure and then go really cheap and secondhand and sticky tile floor, whatever it takes to get occupancy, and then upgrade it with time.
Maybe go for a little bit more budget siding, get like secondhand appliances, or maybe it means we have to thrift all our lighting fixtures, which actually sounds kind of fun to me, I'm not gonna lie, and all our furniture. Or maybe it means we have to build some of our furniture or build out our kitchen, which, like, now that I'm saying it, doesn't actually sound like that much of a
scary thing.
Yeah, that actually sounds kind of fun to me. But there obviously are trade-offs because it would be more costly than the first one that we were looking at.
Definitely more simple to construct than option 2 because it is a single floor bungalow, and it, even though it does have vaulted ceilings, all of those are actually on trusses that come delivered.
And I like that these ones too all have their very designated spaces within the main areas.
Common rooms are bigger, allow for separation of space between kitchen, living room, and dining.
Yeah, they're not all right on top of each other, which I really like. It does have more comfortable sized bedrooms. What I really like about these as well is that they do have an office space. So we're not losing a bedroom to an office.
I mean, we do currently edit in a tin can that is a van and is often 30 degrees in here on our kitchen table bed couch thing, and we do okay. So we don't have to have an office, but gosh darn do I love having a door that I can close and be in my own world while I edit.
It would be a huge bonus, let's say. No, it's not a must-have, but I just like that these ones have those features in them.
I think really it's just a lot less complicated than option 2. It's kind of like a much bigger version of the budget house that we were considering, and simple design for simple brains like us probably makes a lot of sense. But it's going to come at a cost, and it's going to come at sacrifices, and it's going to be quite expensive because that is a large foundation. The one thing about these is they are really pretty and timeless and simple, but they are kind of vanilla. In comparison to the second house, particularly the loft house.
Yeah, it's a little bit more grand, like being able to stand out over the little, like, I'm going to call it a balcony. Obviously, it's just a loft, but being able to look over at the rest of the house really gives you a different visual sense of space than being in just like one room. And it's, yes, it has its tall ceilings, but it's still like, it's still a box. So I think we'd have to get creative with the design. I think we could have a lot of fun with the design, regardless of what the budget is.
So, AKA, it's vanilla on the outside, but mango sorbet on the inside? So what would you do? Would you go with option 1 and, take it slow?
Practical,
build a smaller house, build on when you need to. But it's definitely the safest and smartest option for us in this stage of our life.
Yeah.
And likely, probably the most simple structure for us to build.
Yep. Or would you go with option 2? You get your 3-bedroom, 2-bath all in one-time build structure, but it does come with its complicating factors.
But it is also such a cool design, and you get 3 bedrooms and 2-bath in such a small footprint, which would potentially be a lot of cost savings. But if we do need help putting up those walls, you're probably offsetting some of that cost savings.
I can feel the headache already, but I imagine it would be worth it.
Or would you go with option 3 and just go for the big house and do the crappy finishes on the inside if you need to? Maybe the budget goes farther than we think, and we can do actually nicer finishings.
We want to make sure that we can finish it so that we can live in it.
Because that's the point, right? If you build a house, you want to finish it. And it's okay if it takes a few years. It's okay if sometimes it's a room or two is kind of crappy at the beginning, because we can upgrade as we go. But we want to make the best decision we can for the long term. And this isn't a house that we just want to build and flip. We aren't professional builders. We want this to be our home. So what would you do based on all of your experience? Maybe you have building experience and obviously living in a house experience, which matters. What would you do? Help us make a decision. If you have any feedback on building, on these decisions, please leave it in the comment.
Anything we haven't even touched on.
This is why we're making this video, because we genuinely need advice and help.
If you can't tell, we love all these designs personally. We literally go on a loop every single day. Ask us. It'll be a different option that we're choosing. So
I literally asked her yesterday. I said, what house? Because she instantly said budget house. And then 2 hours later, she was like, no, let's do the bigger house.
After conversations. So it's tough. We're so excited about this process so far, not only from the looking at the house, but thinking about the house and what our next steps are. We only have a few weeks left before we can actually go out and look for more properties. We're in Arizona right now. We've been getting so many pictures and videos from our friends and family back home of them just getting absolutely dumped on with snow. So we just got to wait for that to melt.
You can't look at land under 4 or 5 feet of snow.
We're really excited to continue this house journey, and we're really excited to see where it goes and hear what you have to say. So thank you.
All right. Bye. We love you.
This is when I tell you usually to subscribe. Instead, I'm just going to leave you with my awkward dancing. If for whatever reason you can't handle these sick dance moves, save yourself and go check out another video. Okay, bye.